Coming to you live from Fury 161, it's the 10 Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and we commit this podcast to the void with a glad heart. For within each seed there is the promise of a flower, and within each death there is always a new life, a new beginning. Amen. Nobody else said amen. This week, finding God with me at the ass end of space. First, the guy's crazy and he smells bad. It's Chris.
I do.
And secondly, I think it might be better if I left. I find you unpleasant to be around.
That's the one I was going to do.
Yeah. Me too. I'm leaking from every orifice.
Yes, Andy's now under the weather after me just about getting over being under.
I caught it through Skype. I don't know how.
Through Skype, maybe, yes. We are the 10 Point Podcast. You can find us at 10pointpodcast.com. Google the words 10 Point Podcast. You will find some way that we get our, idiocy out across the internet, whether it be YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, whatever you want to call it. Anywhere you get podcasts.
Chinese websites.
Chinese website hosting.
They're back. They got another one. What was the two episodes ago? Not Cube. The one before that.
Ready.
Aye, that was on the Chinese website.
Oh, bandwagon jumpers. They see
I don't know why they keep pulling it. It's like our stuff. What are they benefiting out of stealing our episodes?
I wonder if we could sue them and get a whole bunch of money off them. I wonder if that would be,
we need some money.
So yes, contact us at 10pointpodcast.com if you do want to host our podcast or want to sponsor us or anything like that. There's an email address. Contact us Twitter, Facebook.
We'll do private parties.
We will do a podcast for a birthday party, bar mitzvah, wedding, anything like that. Contact us at 10pointpodcast.com or
Dubai Shake, whatever. We'll do that as well.
Yeah, send us to whatever you want to call it.
We'll do whatever you want.
Anyway, 10 Point Podcast, that is us. We review movies on the most part, but we do other bits and pieces too. Before we get on to the reason for the podcast this week, what was your highlight of the week? I don't know who to throw to here because I don't have anything good. Andy's been ill, so Chris, I feel like you might be the.
I've watched loads of shit.
Oh, well, we'll come to you first then, Andy.
So I was on Chris's bandwagon. I watched the Mario movie.
All right, yeah.
That's a banger. I enjoyed that. It's a banger. I don't care what Chris said. Chris didn't review it very well. I am one of these, not the critics. I feel like Chris is the critic where it's just been shit
what one? The new one?
No, the new one, the cartoon, Chris Pratt.
Yeah, that's fine. I didn't review it well.
Now, what got me, right, and people are not talking about this, it's not a spoiler, but it is exactly the same story as the 1993 version.
Oh, really? Is it?
I was like, fucking hell, it is exactly the same story, only they've animated it and put it in, like, the actual Mushroom Kingdom and stuff like that, so I was well up for it.
Yeah, because they take people from Earth to a different universe. Like
yes,
Earth,
which is called the Mushroom Kingdom, but looks industrial like this thing behind me. But no, I loved it. Like I'm a massive Mario gamer, so it's got like Super Smash Bros. Melee, it's got Mario Kart, it's got every Mario game under the sun. And it's every now and then
it's
not
just like Mario. It's like all like the Nintendo.
It's got anything that Mario's ever been in. It's got these little kind of throwbacks, and then it's just the Mario music all the way through it. It's like what's not to love about it? So yeah, that was good.
Speaking of music, are you putting your name towards getting Peaches nominated for an Oscar?
Song. Yes.
I've not heard it, but
it's banger. Jack Black is best. I don't want to
say about that because it's fucking brilliant.
It's brilliant, but yeah, it's been fully released now. Proper music video.
Yeah, it's all everywhere across it.
But yeah, that's a thumbs up. That's not actually my other highlight. My main highlight. My actual main highlight, which completely took me by surprise because I put it off. I couldn't be arsed watching it. 65.
Oh, yeah.
What a film.
Yeah, pretty good, isn't it?
Like, if I hadn't seen The Last of Us, I would be even more up for it because it's pretty much Pedro Pascal looking after a kid.
That's right, yeah.
But, like, I was watching it, I'm like, all right, this is not what I thought it was. I thought it was all going to be set on Earth. It's not. It's a different planet. There's weird lizard aliens and stuff like this. And then there's a thing that looks like a T-Rex. And then there's like big twists. I'm like, yep, that's a banger.
Yeah.
Completely took me by surprise.
Pretty damn good. And like I said, there's like 4 people in the film. There's nobody in the film. It's a tiny little cast. But yeah, it's a great hour and a half killer. Like, it was great. Cinema. Go watch it at the movies. Big screen for me is amazing and all that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely loved it. So yeah, it's not as bad as everybody's shit can and that. So yeah. 2 really badly reviewed films for critics, which basically brings me on to my main point. Critics are cunts.
Yep.
Like, I feel like the only critics that people should trust is us combined. Not us individually, because Bruce is way off. He thinks Cube's shit. But when you combine us all, you get a fair rating, I reckon.
I think we do, for the most part, we do average a good rating. Now, I was
normally
looking
2 for 1.
I was looking back because we were doing Alien 3 today. I was looking back at our previous ratings for that, and it's like the first movie, Alien, I gave a 10 and Andy gave a 4, and Chris was like an 8 or something like that. So in there, like where you average it, that's pretty good. And in the second one, I think I was lower than you guys, but it's they averaged about the same. So I think when you find the official 10-point podcast rating is usually okay for a film.
So fuck your Rotten Tomatoes critic score. Just come to the 10-point podcast. We'll do the 10-point podcast score. You can't go far wrong.
Yeah, we're 3 very independent reviewers who just happen to review together. So it's probably the best way to get a film review.
Yeah. So that's my 2 bangers.
Very good. Chris, what about you?
Well, I watched the original Super Mario Brothers movie just because I watched the other one.
I thought you were going to pick it.
Well, that's why I did it, because you were talking about it last week. So I thought, you know what, I will watch it. It is a great film if you take out all the Mario references.
Oh, 100%.
Nothing to do with Mario.
Yeah, I'm there with the Bob Hoskins. Sid the Sloth, we'll call him, because I can never say his name.
Don Leguizamo.
Yep. But like, it is a great story, and like I said, the new Mario film is that. It is that, but with Mario characters. Their version, it has a guy called Mario and a guy called Luigi. They look a bit like the game characters, and that's about it. And then they just use all the characters. It's like, well, no, you're not Koopa. Fuck that. You're definitely not fucking Toad. But you take all that out of it, it's a banger of a story.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of John Leguizamo and Mario, was I clickbaited or fake news this week, or did you see what he had said about the new Mario movie?
He basically refuses to watch it because it's not diverse enough, and that he's obviously not even Italian himself, but played an Italian plumber in the 1993 version, and then along with Bob Hoskins, that well-known English-Italian person.
He complained that they didn't cast any Latin actors in it. It's like, well, why? There's like 3 humans in the film. Like, what difference? But also, I think Anya Taylor-Joy, who plays Peaches, she's actually technically Latina, because she's like half Argentinian or something like that. In some way, some workaround, she actually is Latino, which is funny.
But they're from Italy.
Yeah, they're 2 Italian guys.
Italian.
Yeah, and then Peaches is from a different universe, basically, and everybody else is like a monster or a mushroom or a monkey.
It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it's so crazy. But yeah, it was funny.
I think he's just pissed that he didn't get a little cameo.
Presumably, I jumped to that conclusion as well, that maybe he was like, they didn't ask me to be involved. Chris, sorry, I interrupted there.
Oh, you're fine. My actual main high point is No Time to Die was on TV the other night, and I watched that. I was an emotional wreck. I don't know if you'd spoiled it or not, I just don't remember. I do not remember the ending at all. I was not prepared for that.
Had you not seen it?
That generally kept being like, it was hush hush. Like, I still don't even think it's really been spoiled.
No. I heard it mentioned publicly, I don't know if it was a podcast or a TV show, it was in the last month. And I was like, oh yeah, that kind of did happen like that. Yeah. And it's like, I wonder, like you say, how many people like Chris that have never experienced it.
They keep talking about, we're looking for a new James Bond. It's like, this is 5 films and done. We're looking for a new James Bond. Yeah. I was not prepared for it to be a new James Bond.
Like, we need a new James Bond. Yeah.
I was emotional.
Yeah.
It's a great film. Thumbs up.
It is pretty good.
It goes in a complete different direction.
Yeah, I still think they wasted Rami Malek in that film. Not that I think he's a great actor. I just mean, there was a kind of character they could have done something with in there, and then they just kind of didn't.
Yeah. Like, I remember watching that film and just going, fuck me, this is long and boring. And then when Rami Malek came on, I'm like, I'm interested in you. What are you going to do? And then it's really when, he disappears. And it's only when he goes to the compound bit where that film really picks up. I'm like, oh, this is a Bond film now.
Yeah.
And Rami Malek was not needed at all. Like, he's useless.
It could have been anyone. Like, you could have cast anybody in that film.
But I liked it.
I think it's good. Yeah. I think on average, I would say great Bond films, the Daniel Craig ones. I think there's 3. If you could count that one as really good, there's 3 really good ones and 2 that are a bit.
You just don't count Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, it's all right for what it is. Like, it's better than a lot of films, but it's not as good as all the other Bond films, really. And then
GoldenEye.
Spectre's very up and down. But yeah, GoldenEye. Yeah, I think I grew up with the Pierce Brosnan ones. So GoldenEye is Tomorrow Never Dies. Tomorrow Never Dies was perfect. Right. I was like 12 or something when that came out. So that's like, this is what I want.
Is that the one where he surfs at the start? Is that the surfing one?
No.
Well, what was Halle Berry?
Halle Berry's Daniel Craig. Tomorrow Never Dies is the one where it's.
Halle Berry? No, Halle Berry's not Daniel Craig.
Is she not? Oh no, you're not. No, Harry Bell's she's the last Pierce Brosnan.
Oh, The World's Not Enough. That's the surfing one. That's it.
There you go. So the one before that, the one saying about news with Jonathan Price and all that. Is Tomorrow Never Dies. It starts at I think it's the base in the mountains in the snow with it. He has to steal an airplane or ends up stealing an airplane. But yeah.
Oh, quick fun fact for you: Daniel Craig has not skied down a slope as James Bond.
Right.
Every other James Bond's gone skiing down
okay. So
Alps and stuff. He's never.
You mean in his film? Not you don't mean specifically him. It's always a stunt.
Oh no, I like James Bond.
Daniel Craig has never skied. That is a fun fact.
I mean, I've never skied particularly either. I've done the.
Has Jack Black ever skied down a ski slope? I've never seen Jack Black ski down a ski slope. That's gonna be Chris's new ongoing thing.
He did pop up in Mando last week, though, which we didn't spoil.
Yeah.
Oh fucking hell! Don't.
He's angry.
I've not watched Mando this week. I'm actually behind for the first
I'm watching after this.
Same.
Yeah.
What I'm also watching after this, which will send me over into what I've been watching last week, I've caught up on Ted Lasso, which I have watched the whole thing. And I really like it. I don't know why. I don't think it's that good. Like, something about it, I'm like, this isn't a great show. And also, I do get kind of offended once they've episode where they do football wrong. Like, no, that's not how it works. No, I wouldn't work like that. But I still love, like, it's a workplace comedy. It's not even that hilarious. It's like, it's more of a workplace dramedy. But the characters and the relationships are what really makes it. Like,
Roy Kent, he needs his own spin-off.
Oh yeah, like the Ryan Kent Keeley sort of side of it. That is my favorite part of basically the whole show. But my absolute favorite episode, if Chris is caught up and you're up to date and all that, Chris, I can fire in, is the Coach Beard, like, separate episode where he essentially goes on a bender after a football game, which he doesn't really go on a bender. But if you've not caught up
as much,
I'm
like literally caught up to season 3.
The show was like half an hour, these sort of wee comedy, kind of Scrubs style half hours, and then there was a big game and it went to 40 minutes. And the next episode was this total tangent where you follow not even one of the main 4 characters on this wild night in London. And it was like 40 odd minutes long as well. And I don't know why that episode I really enjoyed it. And ever since, every episode's been like an hour long since then. They've probably upped it to another degree. So Ted Lasso. I've not watched tonight's episode yet. And I don't know how many are left. I don't know how many's in the season of this thing, but very much enjoying it. And I'm
hoping my Apple TV lasts for the next few months. I need
to get through the season, exactly, because the free trials ran out and it's like £6 a month or something like that. I don't know what it is, but something like that. Yeah, and on that, because of that, also on Apple TV, I have, because way back when, in that time between everybody buys DVDs and everybody streams everything, you could buy digital downloads of films. I bought Horrible Bosses digital download, and I spotted it on my Apple TV when I finished Ted Lasso. I thought, we'll stick that on. We'll watch Jason Sudeikis in that as well. The film's not aged perfectly, I'll say that, and also everybody in the film is more famous for having been in other things and done way better things than Horrible Bosses, but a very enjoyable hour-and-a-half comedy that you just don't get these kind of good comedies anymore. You like to? I like the second one as well.
I can't remember too much.
I can't remember it. Yeah, the first one I've got.
That's when Jennifer Aniston is really rapey.
Right. I mean, you have to go some distance after the first one. But yeah. All the bosses, it's worth a watch if you need a laugh. But yes, we've definitely talked an awful lot about not what we're here for, which will need a lot of talking as well. So we better crack on with point 1 on the 10-point podcast. And point 1 is, what's the point? The point this week, the 1992 action sci-fi horror Alien 3, or Alien Cubed, depending on how it's written down, because it's always Alien with
that's what I call it.
To the power.
This is not part of the Cube franchise.
Cube, it's not Cube, right? Okay.
Oh, this could be one of the rooms.
Can you imagine though, an alien running around cubes?
Well, kind of like a cube. What's behind you, Andy, on our video versions? The room where they basically hold the sermons.
Is it going to have an alien in it? Is it not?
Yeah. Written by a whole bunch of people behind the writing, so I won't dwell too long on it. Story by Vincent Ward, literally famous for nothing that I recognise, but these came up. Vigil, The Navigator, A Medieval Odyssey, Map of the Human Heart, and Alien 3. So that's who wrote it. Screenplay.
You can tell this had production issues, this film, can't you?
Exactly, yes. Hopefully Chris has got all the production issues ready to tell us about, but ways that tells me not. Screenplay by 3 people. Again, always a bad sign. David Geiler, The Parallax View, Fun with Dick and Jane, Aliens, and Alien 3. So he stuck around from the second one. Walter Hill, The Getaway, The Warriors, 48 Hours, Streets of Fire, Aliens, and Alien 3. So he stuck around as well. And then Larry Ferguson also had a bash at the screenplay. Highlander, one of my favorite
Yeah.
podcast movies. Highlander, Beverly Hills Cop 2, The Hunt for Red October, Alien 3, and then the 2002 version of Rollerball, or what he wrote. So it gets a wee bit better with some of the films there, Highlander being the high point, in my opinion. Directed by Alien 3, David Fincher, who absolutely hates it and has basically disowned it, and the studio took it off of him in the middle of them making it and all that, but he is still the director of it. This is his first feature film. We covered him a lot on previous episodes because we've done him twice before, so I won't dwell too much. This is his first feature film, and it's kind of why the studio and him fell out, which was they didn't trust him. He's a great director.
The assembly cut's not called the director's cut because he wanted nothing to do with it.
Exactly, yeah. It's not called the Fincher cut or anything like that. He's very good, very famous. I'll just list 7 Fight Club, Zodiac, Social Network, and Gone Girl as things that he has directed in the past. Not a bad set of great films he's done there. On to the cast.
Peaked here. He should stick around.
Starring as Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, back on the podcast once again. Famous for being in the Aliens franchise, Ghostbusters, Gorillas in the Mist, and Avatar. They're her big set things, but she's also been in a million other films. So
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, one of them. Hopefully Chris has got that on his list for later on. Co-starring,
He always has a wee look.
co-starring with Sigourney in this particular Alien film as Dylan, we have Charles S. Dutton. Famous for being in Alien 3, A Time to Kill, Gothica, The Express, and Legion. And I would suggest to Mr. Dutton that he needs to get a new agent because he is a very good actor and has been in absolutely nothing good. Like he's been in 100 and something things, one of every episode of every single TV show, and it's like, you were really good in Alien 3, Charles. Why are you not in anything else? And I have no answer. I don't know why. So yeah, Charles Dutton as Dylan, which is kind of confusing, similar names. Speaking of Charleses, as Clemens, my third and final star of the film, Charles Dance. An actual podcast favourite, although we've never actually covered him on the proper podcast yet. I don't
Not
think.
officially, no.
So, famous for Alien 3, Last Action Hero, which is why we love him, our unreleased pilot that nobody has yet to hear. Gosford Park, Game of Thrones, Imitation Game, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and the first episode of The Sandman from last year. Which also makes me realise Charles Dance is basically just Charles Dance. He's not in anything. He's not in a massive thing that's really successful outside of Game of Thrones, and he's not even like the main star of that either.
Celebrity Juice, he reads the Christmas specials book.
He also does he not do something like on Big Fat Quiz of the Year, or does it show up on that as well?
He does the same thing. Yeah, he does it. He does it in Celebrity Juice as well, but he does it on Big Fat Quiz of the Year.
But yeah,
he reads was it celebrity bios and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Charles Dance, our third man. A lot of people in this. It's a great cast, and I could have.
I've met most of them.
I was thinking that there's a few that I've bumped into these years as well, Andy. Yeah. So yeah, a whole bunch of different people in it, but we'll get to them throughout. I would imagine on a budget of $50 million, the third film of the Alien franchise was made. Opened in the US first weekend, $19.5 million. Final US gross, $55.5 million. Made its budget back on home soil. Worldwide, $160 million. It made and got itself a fourth film.
Yes.
Say a third sequel, but it would be a third sequel, but yes. A fourth film came not long after. Released 22nd of May 1992 in America. It wasn't until the 21st of August 1992 that it came to the United Kingdom. Back in those days where there was months in between different countries getting the same.
You only get boats. You can't fly things over. I had to go in a boat.
Well, they had to send them.
Steamboat.
Yeah, steamboat. It meant that it was eligible for the 1993 awards season, where it rocked up to a few awards ceremonies. 1993 Oscars, one nomination at the Oscars for Alien 3. This just wouldn't happen, I don't think, anymore. Best visual effects. It did not win. It lost to Death Becomes Her. It's a banger. It comes up every so often. 1993 Razzies did not get nominated for anything. Alien 3, the stamp of approval we needed.
It could have done with the amount of shit that went on.
Definitely, yes. 1993 MTV Movie Awards, one nomination. Nominated for Best Action Sequence. And the specifics I got was the aliens chase through a tunnel. So it could be one of many places in the film. Lost to Lethal Weapon 3, Mel Gibson's motorcycle crash, or something like that. If that's familiar to you, Under Siege was also nominated for the exact same award, meaning that, yes, Chris's last two picks have literally been both nominated for the exact same award. Neither of which.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's quite funny.
Maybe Smithy.
However, the one we're all waiting for, 1993 Saturn Awards, Alien 3, big presence at the Saturn Awards. 7 nominations at the Saturn Awards for Alien 3. Best special effects, lost again to Death Becomes Her, obviously. Best costumes, lost to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Best director, David Fincher, although he probably didn't turn up, I doubt.
Yeah.
Lost to Francis Ford Coppola, also for Dracula. And best writing, they lost to Dracula as well. So three in a row, they're all lost to Dracula. Best supporting actor, Charles S. Dutton, lost to Robin Williams. What film do you think that was in 1993? What was no, right neck of the woods though. You're not far off.
Mr. Doubtfire.
No, Aladdin.
Yes.
Supporting actor at the Saturn Awards. I don't know why Aladdin got nominated. Fair enough. He won. Maybe he said, "I'll turn up if you nominate me," sort of thing. And best actress was obviously Sigourney Weaver. I think she's the only woman in the film, so it would have to be her. Lost to Virginia Madsen in Candyman, which is the Saturn Awards have the best groupings of people in films. Candyman, Alien 3, Aladdin, Dracula, all at the same award ceremony. Final nomination, best science fiction film. Did not win either. Its 7th nomination. It did not win. It lost to Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country, which even numbered Star Treks. They're not the good ones. They're the good ones, aren't they? The even numbers.
I think so, but I'm pretty sure it's still bad.
I mean, it's just about the last one, I think. There weren't too many.
Oh, is that the one where Shatner dies?
Oh, spoilers.
Spoilers for a film from 20 odd year ago. Again, 30 year ago. So, sorry, I thought you were going to carry on there. If Shatner died,
I was trying to think who the other guy was, isn't it? The guy from
Spock.
Tank Girl.
Guy from Tank Girl. Doesn't narrow it down exactly. On to the synopsis. Plots. I always call synopsis. It really is the plot summary because I do click on plot summary and that's where I take it from. But the synopsis, plot summary for Alien 3 by another returning contributor, Thesaurus Nick.
Oh god, that's gonna be a fucking nightmare.
It's not too long. It's actually shorter than Claudio's from last week. This is what Nick says Alien 3 is about. Now, this is probably the theatrical version, but I'm not sure. We'll see how this goes. That will come up very soon. After escaping death by the skin of her teeth in the inhospitable exomoon Acheron, aliens, Ellen Ripley crash lands on the weaponless maximum security prison planet Fiorina Fury 161, a penal labor colony of hardened male criminals. But under everyone's noses, a stealthy Xenomorph manages to escape and mature in the vast correctional facility's labyrinthine ventilation duct system. As it picks off the unprotected inmates, mass hysteria starts to spread. Now, a handful of survivors have to make do with their primitive weaponry and hope for a quick death. Can Ripley, the veteran alien killer, eradicate the evil within?
Hey.
He didn't say. He often says the thing. He didn't squeeze in Alien 3. Something. He didn't say Alien. Who picked Alien Cubed? It was Chris. Chris, why did you pick it?
Well, like I said with what was the other sequel? I hadn't done one for a while.
That's a good
I can't remember now.
Any of the police academies? Still waiting for them.
Mummy Returns?
That was it. Yeah, I had done Mummy Returns for a while, so I thought, you know, I'll do the third Alien film so I could finish this.
Well, this has been waiting for 3 seasons. Fans have been crying.
Yeah,
for this.
3 whole seasons we've waited for the third Alien film. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought I'd finally do it in my unfinished business theme.
Your unfinished business theme. Yes. Had we seen it before? Yes, I think I had only seen the version I watched this time once before. But yes, seen it a few times before. I think we're all well versed in our aliens. Which channel will we find it on? I did not even delete Channel 4 from last week because I think this is very much Channel 4 kind of film. What version did we watch? Now, because of the confusion with this particular film, we've been through that off podcast to make this a bit easier. So Andy watched the theatrical Alien 3 version that came out in cinemas that you can
Disney
watch.
Plus, yes.
Watch right now on Disney Plus. Is what he watched. I watched, because I have sitting next to me for once, the Alien box set.
I had that, but it was literally about 5 meters in front of me, and I couldn't be able to go and get in it, so I just put Disney Plus.
So I had this, so therefore I was able to watch the 2003 special edition. It's called on that. I'll do that again, which is what's more commonly called the assembly cut, that best tries to replicate David Fincher's version of the film since he's pretty much doesn't want to be involved with the film. That one lasts 2 hours, 24 minutes long. It's about, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour longer than the normal one. Maybe half
Yeah,
an
just
hour.
under 2 hours.
There you go. So half an hour longer than the normal one. Extra. Now, Chris, what did you watch?
I watched both versions because I've got the quadrilogy box set, which is out of my reach. I can't pick it up.
Well, I've actually got the sextology, so I don't know if that's better. Is it reduced in value because it's got Alien Covenant on it? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
They're not Alien films.
Yeah. Prometheus, I quite like over Alien.
No,
Covenant.
see, I know Prometheus I don't like. Covenant I don't mind because I like Danny McBride. He's the best character in that film.
Right, fair enough.
Yeah.
He was involved producing it, didn't he? I think he was part of the reason it got made.
Aye.
Anyway, Chris watched both, basically. So we got the two different versions. This could be a laugh trying to wade our way through here with me and Andy not having seen the other one recently. We've probably both seen both, but not having seen them recently. So on to point 2. The high points, best bits, things, etc. about Alien.
I hope they start the same.
They do. They're very well. They do.
No, they don't.
Temporarily, and then
Alright.
quite quickly it goes a different way.
Because my first high point, I'm going to jump in, is I like the start, where it's like it picks off where the second one left off. They're all in their cryo thing, and then quite quickly, Alien kicks off, and then you see the whole impregnation thing. It's like, oh, it's in what you call her, Newt, mostly. Mostly. And then,
All right,
then you find a twist, and it's not actually Newt.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to. I'm going to jump in with my first low point here. Is that opening? Because I've got nothing but fucking questions for this.
Me too.
Like,
But I like it. Like as a principle, I liked it.
Watch it. It's good. Yeah.
Like you're like I'm drawn in, okay, because like not much happens in this Alien film like till later on, but that opening I'm like, yeah, I'm good. This is exactly where the second one taken off, but then it does raise a lot of questions because, as Chris is about to say,
I'll ask like, okay, if the version you watched, there was 2 eggs on the thingy. There was the one that went for Newt, and then you see the other because as soon as it's gone into somebody, it dies off. So
well, no, because
I'm pretty another egg.
Yeah, you're correct. There should be 2 eggs. I'm pretty sure there was only 1 egg, which raised multiple questions for me afterwards. Because, spoiler alert, it's not actually Newt, it's actually Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Which then, how does it impregnate the dog / the ox? Because in my version, you only see the 1 egg opening. I don't know if the director's cut there was 2 eggs.
No, and the one that we watched, you only see the egg that's already open. You see the alien crack Newt's glass, and then that's it. But then you see later on Ripley's glass is cracked.
Yes.
But you think it's from an explosion. So it's just, I'm thinking it's fucking waiting for Newt. It's nicked itself, which set off the alarms, and then it's gone for thingy. So I don't know if it's actually gone into Newt.
But it never went into Newt.
So when Ripley gets, like, from the beginning, I either remembered or kind of worked out that Ripley had been, I don't know, impregnated by...
Violated.
Yeah. So I was thinking, my big question, I had it in my low points for most of the film. How long is the gestation period of an alien meant to be?
Yeah, that's my next low point as well.
So I had
high
that
points.
but no.
I know.
Yeah. So I had that written, but then when it got to the whole point where she saw the photo of it, the scan, and she somehow recognized that's a queen. So I was like, okay, so that's why it's kind of different here, because it's a different kind of alien. So it's not just a alien, it is a queen alien that's in her. So I thought that must be why it has to stay in longer, doesn't burst out as soon. So maybe that's got something to do with it, because it's a different kind of, I don't know, fetus that's inside her.
Yeah.
Now with the dog version, you do see the actual living thing crawling when the dog's barking at it. So also, the big question I had was, and I didn't go back and watch, at the end of Alien 2, is there any way any alien could have got onto the ship to do it in the first place? Because I feel like they quite cleanly escaped from that place.
Okay, I've got that in my low points as well. Like, all the questions you're asking are my low points.
Well, we can cover it here.
The question, the alien doesn't get onto the actual Sulaco. It gets in the landing bay, and that's it. It doesn't actually go inside to lay eggs. So the eggs shouldn't be there. So, this shouldn't have fucking happened because there's no aliens there. Unless somebody just carried it in and went, there you go.
See, this is what I imagined in my head. So I reckon there was just a random little sneaky Xenomorph drone just going, this is not going to go to shit.
Because I'll kick it off.
I'm going to have a backup plan. There's that ship over there. I'm going to sneak some eggs on it. My
You
mum's
see
going to love me.
everything like
Yeah,
that.
my mum's going to love me. She's kicking off, and I'm just going to sneak an eggs, a couple of eggs in there, sorted. So yeah, he's getting a pay rise if he survived.
Yeah. The other point might have been, I can't remember Aliens. They had someone who was working for the company, I would imagine, as part of the mission.
Yeah.
So they could have done it. They could have.
Oh, it could have been Bishop all along. Maybe he was a sneaky one.
Could have been Bishop.
Dumped in.
Yeah,
He was
could
going
have
to
been,
take a couple of eggs home. He got them before we went and picked them up.
Anyway, this is not a high point. This is
I've got one final question to that. As Andy's first point is, whose chest bursts open? Because you see a big red streak going up.
Well, I think that's when what do you call him? Hicks gets stabbed, and she's remembering it wrong.
That's my belief as well.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
no,
anyway, I like the high point. We'll go back to it as a high point. I just kind of liked when you get glimpses and you kind of try and work out what happens. When you watch it too many times, you read a lot of questions.
I have a very Chris Mandela. I don't know if it's a Mandela. We'll call it the Chris effect. I have a Chris effect with this film, where until I got the DVD, I had absolutely never seen the first 10 minutes of this film. It was always like, oh, Ripley's in a kind of prison thing here, and my brain was always like, it's like a prison ship that they were in, not on a planet as well. So this is just my memory of the film. Was the film starts with her having been found on this ship and there's a whole bunch of prisoners there. That's how my memory remembers it. Anyway. Chris,
my actual first high
point. You want to start with a high point, yeah.
Is like the special edition of how the alien actually comes to be, not the wee facehugger, makes a lot more sense in the theatrical cut, because the size of the alien compared to the dog that comes out of, it would have been wearing it like a suit.
Yeah.
So the Ox makes so much more sense.
It does. And my first high point is the scene where it actually does come out of the Ox, the way it's intercut with the funeral. So we have the funeral of Newt and Hicks getting thrown into the smelter, whatever you want to call it, them dying, and then obviously Dylan with this, I think probably at this point, his 7th sermon of the film, and at the same time this alien being birthed every so often, just cut across it. I really enjoyed that. Was the first time, the first beginning. You mentioned it as high points, Andy. For me, the film was just fine, just there, enjoyable, but never made me grab for my pen and paper until basically, this funeral bit. Okay, I like this. I need to note this one down. But up until then, no complaints by any stretch.
It does the same with Andy's version with the dog, and it mingles with the dog getting
right.
But
and
it
the
does
dog
have
looks
that
a
low
lot more
point
painful.
of when the dog one looks like proper violent, this dog, and then suddenly just like kind of like the gut spot, the whole dog just blows up.
Yep.
But then you get this like basically bigger than a dog-sized alien. It's like fuck off.
Can't really explain that away. Normally we're like, oh, it's a fantasy film. Anything could happen magically. But no
way that's fed in there.
It doesn't work like that, yeah. My first high point, which I'll just put in here, shaved head Ripley is my first high point. As in,
it's synonymous with aliens. That shaped head.
Yeah, it's kind of her iconic look, but she doesn't really have it until the third film, which is probably the least watched of all the Alien films as well. But I think this is the real Ripley. She looks most like a badass in this film. I did nominate her. A spoiler for it. I did nominate her for best badass. However, she's not especially badassy in this. She just kind of is there. But she looks like a badass.
I kind of like her attitude. Where normally get these people going, right, I've done this 2 times already. Right, this is my 3rd outing on this one, and she explains it all like she knows, but then she's just being a bit cagey. But she's like, burn the bodies, just like we're doing this, but it's just like instantly I'd be like, there's a fucking alien here. Let's just get shit done. That's
one of my low points, which I'll come on to a bit deeper into that as well. Again, I'll just go with my next one here, because I know one of you won't like it. There's a 45-minute stretch of the film around this time, after the alien is first born, where nothing particularly happens, except from the 2 kills that Golic gets blamed for down in the tunnels. But apart from them, it's all just kind of conversations. It's all kind of plot setting, and I really like it because
I'm with you. I actually do like that. Like, it's building up, it's got a high point, like, as an overall story for this. Whereas you've got Alien, which I didn't really like. It's boring. It's talking, which is why Bruce likes it. But then you have Aliens, which I really like because it's just Marines, a fuck ton of aliens, and shooting. Yep. And then the big gamble of this film is, let's just bring 1 alien back.
Go back to the first one.
Yeah, and I was like, but I like, spoiler alert, I do like this more than the first one because it just does it a little bit better. I don't know why, because it's ultimately just a bunch of guys the alien looks particularly weird in this one. It doesn't look as cool as the first one.
Oh, definitely got into that.
But yeah, it's just like, but this build up time is pretty good.
Yeah.
Except from one of another low point, which I'll add in after this.
But yeah, personally, I found that like every scene was important to either the story or the characters, usually both, and everything made like something would happen conversationally. The next episode, someone's reacting to that makes sense, and also moving it forward. And then we're gonna have to go do that, and they do that, and then someone's gonna have to go do that, and it all made sense. And
like even just like the prison warden, like his like scenes, because I didn't particularly like him, but like that leads to like the company coming in, and then you've got like the priest leading to like punching the other guys out. Everything just worked.
It does, and it, like there's a whole bunch of just everyone's a bald guy in this film, so you need to kind of set out who the different people are a little bit, and like there's a bit of strange character like popping up and disappearing and all that throughout, but you do get a fair idea who about half a dozen of them are in that first period. But yeah, so for me that's basically the first hour of the film. That's the high points for me. So I don't know who Chris, we'll go back to you again for some.
Well, I was just touching you on like in particular the scene of her coming into the mess hall and picking up her juice and stuff. You could feel the tension. Yeah. So it just like everybody just staring at her. She's what she's thanking somebody for what they said, and like, I don't give a fuck what you say about me, blah blah blah. And she's like, all right, I'll just fucking sit here and make you feel uncomfortable.
That was her biggest badass moment. Like, that was the most that she. I think that's probably when I popped her down as best badass, because at that point I was like,
no fucks are given.
Yeah, she's like, I've been through far worse than you. It's like, you are nothing to me. I'll just plonk myself in front of you if I know you that much. But yeah, she could have never followed up really.
I don't have too many more high points, but the next high point is the one right behind Chris, which is the alien dropping down, killing Charles Dance, and then it's like you finally see a really good shot of the alien because there's not many of them.
Yeah,
and then it's like that great scene instantly followed up with her running into the mess hall going, "There's an alien," and everybody's like, "No, there's not," and then fucking just rip again. It's like, fuck yeah, this alien is out to get them now. Here we go, business is picked up.
You've literally taken what is my next note in my note, which is Clemens dead, Charles Dance dead out of nowhere. It's literally halfway through the film for the longer version. So you're just over an hour in. They spent this film being like, here's the hero guy saving the hero woman. She's basically told him, this is my secret I've been keeping from you. And he's been, this is my secret I've been keeping from you. And it's like, okay, this is our team. Let's go get the. And it's like boom, bang. He's got his head like, I don't know, eviscerated by this alien out of nowhere. And like, oh my god, like the second main character's just died, and then you get like you said, the iconic shot from this film. Like
it's funny how that is 3 movies in, and that is the picture that is synonymous with aliens.
Yeah, it is.
I think it just tells you more about where movies were in 1992 when this came out. That the look of her and that shot that defined Aliens as a franchise was just because of where films were, I guess, in popular culture around that sort of time. That this was a big deal, and it was a big third. There weren't, I don't know how many sequel number 3s there were around that time. Also made Back to the Future, but other than that, not many films I don't think got to trilogies. So it was a big deal when this came out. But yeah, and then after the iconic shot, we go into basically the third main character getting killed off. The other guy, you set him up as the boss, the possible antagonist. And he's gone. It's like 2 shocking deaths in literally about 5 minutes of the film. Just bang, bang, gone. And it's like, what? Like, and you're like, what the hell's going to happen for the next hour plus of this film?
Like on the, was it the? I'm going to call it the special edition. Like they have the trap, which is like what they're going to do. They trap it inside that waste thing that they can't get out. And then
also whatever it's called,
yeah. Then it's Golic, who it isn't in the theatrical release of him saying, "Come on, I can't. If it comes and get me, it's going to kill me," because he's not mentioned again through the rest of the film. So I don't know whether he's supposed to have died in the theatrical version.
Golic. I think Golic, everything happens to him in the special edition happens in the theatrical, but you see none of it, I think.
Yeah.
It's like all of it happens basically as a background character, an extra, as it were. You're talking about the trap. My next high point is in the extended version, there's just 5 minutes of explosions and people getting set on fire, and it was a big giant, like, balls up. One guy gets got by the alien and sticks that triggers the whole thing. It's just bang, 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 oh, bang, 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 bang. It just keeps. I want you thinking like, oh, I'm sitting counting explosions. But I think like, okay, and I'll add 15. And it goes on, I'll add another 10. And it just goes on and on and on. It's like, this is where the budget was on this 5-minute stretch of the film. It was just everything exploding. I've got two more high points, both quite near the end of the film. So if anyone's
These
got
are
any,
right at the end, so you can fire on.
I have Dylan in the special edition, his 15th speech of the film, that everybody's got to die sometime. Would you rather do it standing or otherwise? A really good speech. The music kind of gives you a whoa, kind of really rises up the spirits. To like, yeah. Then they all want to go, yeah, let's go kill the damn alien. So his speech is really good at that point. It's the first time the film was really like making you feel something. It's like, yes, I want the humans to go survive. And my last high point is the very end. So I don't know if you've got anything.
Before that, I've got Ripley in the body scanner.
Oh, right, yeah.
She has been bulletproof through the first two films, and here's this queen just staring her in the face. And just like I can't remember what it's called now, 85. Just look at this thing going, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing, but that looks bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's the absolute finale. And there's not a major difference, but there is a difference between our versions when it comes to the end. But I very much like Ripley's sacrifice, and
Swan dive.
It's a really good way to end a trilogy, and it kind of works. If they just stopped here, and I would have liked it if probably stopped.
It is really should have stopped.
Yeah, I think you can't really. I don't remember Alien Resurrection. That was called.
Yeah.
Being as bad as people make it out to be. However,
it's actually pretty good, but it needs to stop maybe 20 minutes before the end.
Right. Yeah, I think I remember where that goes anyway. But yeah, her sacrifice at the very end is a good way to go. And I enjoyed the kind of.
How do you prefer? Do you prefer it with the chest bursting or without the chest bursting?
I like it with the chest bursting, where she's like grabbing it, like to stop it jumping out.
Sure, because then she knows that's it. It's end of the sea.
Yeah.
I suppose I don't mind the no chest burster one, but then at the same time, like, is it jumping out because it knows it's going to die, or is it just like, oh, it's time for me to burst out?
Yeah.
Like,
I think it was. I don't know. I quite like the idea of going, fucking hell, she's going to kill me. Jump!
It's getting really hot. It's getting really hot.
Fucking wee.
I kind of like it without it, because it's like you don't want to see her go through the pain of chest bursting through her chest, but then you're like, her, like Andy said, her grabbing it, that's like her ultimate fucking badass. She's killing this queen with her bare hands.
Point. That's a badass point or two. Yeah, good point. But yeah, I think I probably prefer it without, but that's because I like that version better. But it's a wee bit too action movie that it pops out right at the right moment. Is that for high points? Or not missed any?
Let's go on to some serious questions.
Yes, on to low points. I'll start with
a massive amount of mine. So
my one basically starts before the film starts. Just Hicks and Newt just killed off. Just they're done. Not in this one. Yeah, those two people that she basically spent most of one film trying to save Newt.
I did say this to Chantel. I was like, every time I was just like, Aliens. I like Aliens. I like the second one. It's good. But what a fucking pointless film now.
Yeah.
That pissed off. This is one of the things that pissed off Michael Bain so much that he refused to let him use his likeness for the dummy.
Ah, right, okay.
That's what they let him use it for the little picture, but not the actual likeness of a dummy. It's
silly to just have killed him off. Like, they could have at least had him in it for like, it's like, oh, Michael, well, this is what we want to do, but like it's going to crash and you're going to end up in this place here, but we'd like you to survive the crash, and then so Ripley can just be full strength and explaining what the issue is and all that. And then the jet burster could come out of Michael Biehn. I don't know. It's like anything. Yeah, to not have him in it at all, to just be killed off screen. And Newt as well. Just like the whole second film was saving her. Just like, she's dead before the film even starts. So that's mostly dead before the film starts. So that's my first low point. It annoys me that's the case.
Yeah.
My next one is either version, doesn't matter which version, is that tiny little alien behind Bruce. It just looks weird.
I don't mind it in this state. There are states later on where I do mind it, but I'm not.
It just like the state behind Bruce, Chris, good. So like that's an alien we remember, but it seems to just go like, right, you effects department, we want it on the roof, draw it like this. You man in a suit, that's a good one. We'll keep that one. You just do a shot where it stands up, and it's like, how many different aliens is there? It looks like there's 4 fucking versions of this motherfucker running around.
Yeah, it does.
The close-ups like that are fucking brilliant. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Like Bruce mentioned, the ones on the roof, it's just awful.
And then obviously, after people. Yeah, calling it like a dog alien makes a bit of sense originally, because obviously that was the code name of it. To then change it to, I think it's called a dragon alien now, like officially.
Well, it's
Because
because in the original cut, Golic,
he says aye.
calls it the dragon.
Yeah, but yeah, I think it's got a proper official name, but yeah, it's now. It used to be the dog alien until the new special edition came out.
Yep.
But yeah, like in like the Alien versus Predator games that came out in like 1998,
Right.
that version was always a dog alien because it makes sense. It came out a dog. It runs a bit weird. It's grown differently.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
The
Excuse me.
I might as well mention it here. The CGI is pretty horrific at times.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's one scene where somebody's getting killed. One of the jobbers is getting killed, and the dog is just basically humping the air. And I'm like, what is going on? You just see the arse end of the alien first as you're kind of panning around, and you just see it humping. Like, I don't remember this part. I was like, oh no, it's just eating in a very strange fashion. It's like, why the hell?
It's part of dog. That's what dogs do.
Yeah,
I
dogs
suppose,
hump when
yeah.
they.
Well, he's not. He was a cow in mine. It's like
Well, oxys, they might hump as well.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of humping, that's actually my next little point. Is Ripley's rape scene. Bit unnecessary.
It is, really is. Like they've already established. There are a bunch of. Oh, did you think Charles dance? Right. Okay.
Well, to be fair, that's a low point as well. I'm adding that in because I keep Mandela in effect that one. I keep forgetting they bang.
Oh, I think it's so insignificant, really.
Yeah.
Like it's.
And it's like I get it, maybe like cryogenic sleep. It seems to make everybody horny, but like she didn't wake up in Aliens. Well, like I cried from Alien to Aliens to just go. I want to bang everybody in the company, and then suddenly, ooh, I'm with Marines. I'm going to bang all you guys as well. But this random guy, I'm going to bang him now. It's been a long time.
Well, think how long it has been. It's like doubly long now.
Yeah.
So it's, but yeah, unnecessary. I don't think they needed that kind of relationship, really.
Nope. But yeah, that rape scene was just a bit too graphic.
Yeah, they established.
But it was almost a high point when the guy just puts his goggles on.
Yeah,
it's battle rage.
Like someone at Mad Max.
Like I reckon if Chris is taking Sigourney Weaver from behind, I reckon that's how we would do it now.
Why me?
Because you want to bang everybody.
That's what you do.
You love to replicate movies. I reckon that's exactly. It's like I've got a scene. We'll do.
Are you ready, Sigourney? This is going to bring back a lot of bad memories for you.
Right.
And then Charles
unnecessary.
Actually, with a metal bar.
Yeah.
We've skipped over one low point for me. Is even before the Clemens and Ripley have nap time, why wouldn't Ripley just tell him what the problem is?
Yeah.
Like, this is grave danger for all 20 odd of you on this planet if this alien is here. So, I just want to check she doesn't have cholera. I was like, no, just say parasitic killer alien could be inside one of these. And if it's inside me, you're going to have to kill me. Like, I don't know, what is the danger for Ripley?
Well, my only defense on that one is because obviously it's now the second time she's been fucked over by the company. She knows it's a Weyland-Yutani base. So maybe she just... And obviously she doesn't know how... Well, I think she does finally find out how long she's been in cryogenic sleep. She probably doesn't know, like, are these all company men? Or are they going to instantly report it? Because obviously that's ultimately what happens. They report it. She knows the company's going to come and get it. So she's been a bit cagey with it. It's my only...
Right. That's a fair explanation. That is fair. I still think you would tell the doctor.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Especially when you're actually...
But you would tell him a lot sooner than she actually did.
Yeah.
Just making up...
It's like, yeah, we've already banged now. I'm still not going to tell you what's going on.
Oh, she had at that point. I think that was the point that she did, because that's when... Yeah.
Because God comes in.
He dodges it as well.
Yeah, they both dodge
and
it.
It's just like, oh, it's a dragon. And she, I hear about this dragon. And that's when he looks at her and goes, all right, what the fuck's here?
Right, fair enough. But yeah, I think it was preposterous that she didn't. I don't know when my next low point comes into it.
Mine's is through like the whole film. The audio in the special edition is fucking horrendous.
I didn't mind it. I was okay. I had headphones on.
When they're talking, it goes all crackly because it's been taken like from the thingy.
Did you have? So this might be a difference between yours and my version because they redid some.
Yeah, I think you had the quadrilogy, which was the bad version because that was the quick knocked out version.
Aye.
Because you had from 2003, whereas I had the 2003 edition on my after Alien Covenant version.
I was reading the like it shows you all the different scenes that are different, and at the bottom it's got like a little thing saying some of the audio doesn't sound as great, and I was like, fuck, I don't remember that. So I went back and listened to it, and as soon as somebody talks, it's all
2017 is when mine came out. And
so
they did get some audio. I read that on somewhere that they did get some of the bad audio re-recorded by the people who had to do it. So It's fixed in mine, Chris. If you want to borrow mine,
I'm not probably gonna watch it again. But it ruins a lot of the better scenes because like there's like big powerful speeches. Some guys just like talk away. It's like in a fucking wind tunnel, and just like.
So unlucky. You've got the lesser version of the film.
Yeah. So that's not a really fair low point. I'll tell you what a fair low point is. This is up here with sewers. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we're what 500-600 years in the future.
I don't know. Is that right?
Whatever. We're colonizing. Well, no, I said more than that. Maybe like 2,000 years in the future. We're colonizing other planets. Mm-hmm. We're terraforming and aliens. This one, we're mining lead on a different planet. I get it. It's a bit old. And it's a bit run down. But this looks like it's from like 1930s, like steelworks. Why is it not all white, pristine, futuristic? And then,
because it's a prison, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, I get it. However, candles.
That was a bit weird.
Candles in space.
It was a bit weird.
I'm not letting this lie. Fucking wax candles. They had, like, I don't know, power loaders.
They had them flare things.
They had those flare things, which still look outdated. That shouldn't be a thing. Just crack a glow stick. Like, we have them now. What are we going to have in like 500 years' time? We're like, oh, I can't use glow stick. That's not environmentally friendly. Wax candles, guys. We're bringing them back. It just took me out of the future. Just
you have to take it up with the company, I think.
Yeah, it's like, what kind of company are you running? We're bringing back wax fucking candles. That's a fire hazard waiting to happen in space.
In case the power goes out, they're handy to keep around.
Yeah. But what if the air conditioner or the ventilation system goes down? That could be fucking nitrous oxide in the fucking planet. That goes fucking woof. That's why the whole fucking bit was exploding. Fucking air system went down some belly and lit a candle in the tunnels. Candles. Fucking hell.
Candles. I didn't think that's where you were going with that. So one of my major low points is it took them way too long to come up with the furnace plan.
Yeah.
Like, it must be, I don't know, there must be half of them dead by the time they realise, geez, we've got like molten hot lead and like actual liquid lava here. If we can just get it to go into one of them, we'll win. And it's like, well, what have you been doing? Like you've just been running scared. It's like, you know it's there. You've literally just thrown a couple of bodies at them a few days ago. It's like, yeah, sitting at home, you're thinking, well, I kind of know where it's going at this point, but you're like, yeah, chuck it in the fire, 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 chuck it in the fire.
Yeah. Just a bit before that. Well, no, it's actually when they're implementing the furnace plan, trying to get it into the thing. The priesthood, can't remember his name, Dallas, whatever. Not Dallas. Dylan. Dallas is the other one.
Yes.
So Dylan sees his mate getting eaten. First thought is, drop the fucking axe, pull him away. It's like, take the fucking axe and whack it through the motherfucking head, decapitate the motherfucker. As far as I'm aware, aliens can't function without heads.
Andy's like accidentally done something that happened in this film. So in this film, but until we lose Charles Dance and the leader man, there's barely any swearing in this film. Once they die, everybody starts like, I think there was less than 10 swear words in the first hour of this film, and there's comfortably over 100 by the end. It's like Andy's done the same thing halfway through the podcast. Takes the filter off. Starts coming out. Quite a general one. There's far too many speeches in the last hour of the film.
Not in my version, it was all right.
Not in your version, but in the longest version, it's like, just come up with and execute the obvious plan to go for here. You don't need to have a speech with everybody. Then half of you go off, and Dylan, I guess, where Dylan was really, you're starting to grind me down a wee bit here, Dylan, with just having these massive speeches, and they talk about this, and they go, and they plan again. It's like, oh, well, they realise, and they plan again. It's like, you've planned the same thing about 5 times in the last half hour. Just go do it. So yeah, that began to annoy me that the talky was meant to be the first half, and then the acty was meant to be the second half.
Well, my kind of last low point, I'm sure you guys will have more, but one of my last low points is actually the final plan execution. Now, it's always annoyed me that the plan seems to be, we'll get all the inmates in the corridor to bait it. We'll run and shut the doors to trap it, so we can get it to go through the doors we want. Why not shut all the doors already, and then just make a straight line to the furnace?
And all stand there.
And why overcomplicated it and running around a maze, which they don't seem to fucking know, and you keep bumping into each other. Yeah. Doors don't shut. Just like, well, this door doesn't shut. we'll make this the main door because it doesn't shut. Everybody in agreement? Yeah. We'll shut the rest, and they'll come through this way now. Ta-da!
Confused me where they were because they kept just shutting. You have this one guy who's supposed to be on one side shutting a door, and you have another guy shutting a door. It's like, well, now they've just fucking created a hole.
Yeah.
Where it's stuck.
Yeah, it's now stuck.
But
there must be side doors. It's like, what? Just shut them already.
It felt like there was say there was 6 paths into the bit that had the pushy thing that was going to push it. It's like, to me, you have 6 guys, one of them at each door, and each one stands at the door, and then it's like, the alien is here. He just turns and legs it. If everybody else shuts every door, it can't get in those ones, and it has to just chase that one guy to take it where it is, and everybody else could be like baiting it in to come into the main bit, and then you start this very slow moving thing to come and push it, which I feel like that was a bad idea in the first place as well. But
then so also part of this plan, hear me out in this one. They were just normal corridors, weren't they? They're just like corridors that people seem to walk down with proper mechanical doors. Why did they all lead to a deadly furnace that's going to get poured with lead?
To clean it.
Yes, maybe. For
why did
I don't
know. They had 6 fucking entrances and a
lot. They got trapped and they were like, shit, get me out.
No, I can't understand if they pour the lead in, it goes through and it makes like patterns or whatever, but these were just normal corridors. It wasn't like it was like previous like stuff or it was like a molding. Just like that would make sense to me. It's like, oh, you're gonna pour hot lava in, these doors open, it goes in and makes like a big mold or whatever.
Yeah.
These were just bog standard doors, then little blast doors, then a cylinder that just pushes that makes what? I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Nope. It annoyed me.
No explanation. Other than movie magic.
Yep.
My final low point is actually a high point that I've put in the wrong section.
Fair enough.
So
Nice.
Let's go. My last high point is I very much enjoyed Dylan cussing out the alien as it ate him.
Yes.
I enjoyed that.
Sal, you've got bite harder.
Yeah. It's very good. So I'm moving that to my high points. I now have no longer any low points. Chris, did you get any others, or is that us?
No, I'm out. Well, Bishop saying that he's real when he's not real, and like in different versions he says he's real, and then that one says his ears hanging off. See, I'm not a droid.
But also he's bleeding red blood in that one as well, which is like, well, then he's a human. Yeah, so it's like, I always remember him as being the actual guy, but on this viewing,
so
I'm like,
but then
I'm the positive.
Vetoes that now because he's the real guy.
Yeah. I'm positive that he's an android at this point.
Yeah, no, Alien versus Predator or whatever, so many years beforehand that's the real one.
Yep.
Righty-ho, on point 4, I know I said point 3 again. Point 4, our stats, statistics we have tracked. Every movie forever, ever, plus some bonus ones. Shits, 34, most of which in the second half. F-bombs, 97. They were swearing up a storm. And bloody Dylan, the most religious guy in the whole film, he just, at one point, just, forget it. I'm just going. They were claiming also that blaspheming was actually the only swear word at one point, but never mind.
Yeah.
Do you remember explosions? 43, a hell of a lot of explosions, all condensed basically at the same point. Do you remember how many people were on the planet?
25.
Yeah, I was gonna say like 20 or something like that.
Now they said 25. Now the person who said it was one of the guards.
So there's 22 guards for 23 inmates.
Well, he said we have 25 prisoners on this place, is what Andrews said. So okay, you can either take 25 or you can say 27 because technically Charles Dance is a prisoner, or you can say 28 if Charles Dance and the 2 people who aren't prisoners are. So say 28 was the population of the planet.
Fury.
To be fair, I generally thought that Andrews and 85 are still prisoners. It's only this time that I actually heard them say, I'm a superintendent, I'm watching over these guys.
So I reckon because he's probably just transitioned from being a prisoner, I think Clemens probably is counted as part of the 25. But yeah, Andrews and the 85, definitely not. So let's say at most 28. Now, 3 people land on the spaceship lander thing that crashes onto the planet, one of which is Ripley. So that's a total of 31 people. I counted in this film 31 deaths plus Bishop, if you want to count that. I don't know if you want to count Bishop dying as being a death or not. Right, so 31 humans die in this film. The problem is Morse gets away at the end.
Yes.
So one extra person died in this film that doesn't exist. Someone who's somebody got exploded. Mainly, it's the biggest. It's like I think it counted 9 people, are like exploding and dying when the fire's all happening. So unless someone got exploded kind of twice and just were very, very unlucky, weren't quite dead yet, one person dies twice in this film, I think. So yeah, 31 deaths plus the android dying. Quotas. Andy, you can maybe opt out of this one. Cows. We see six cows.
Oh yeah, no, they're oxys.
It's a cow. I'm saying that's a cow. It's
It's an ox.
bovine. I will say it's bovine, therefore
Okay.
it's a cow.
Space cow.
Now, when they bring in Babe, which is the poor cow that had just collapsed out of nowhere, one of them says, "Don't worry, we've only 7 left and having to deal with this dead cow." If they're including that particular cow, does that mean, I said we've not done this one yet, does that mean there actually are 8 cows? Or if there are, she was the 7th, or he was the 7th cow, I don't know. Because we only see 6 helping at one time. So somewhere between 6 to 8 cows. There might be 2 that are in reserve for when the other 6 aren't pulling ships out of water. So somewhere in there. How many cows? No goats. Dead animal, a cow and a dog.
Yeah.
Or a dog, I should say, cow or a dog. Paedophiles.
Yep.
All 25 prisoners, it said, because they are claimed to have been all of the things that he says. So at least a bunch, I would say, of the 25 people. Taco Berry trifecta. A lot of running, but I think none of it by Clemens, who does get the girl temporarily and doesn't end up with the girl in the Tom Cruise Taco Berry trifecta style. So definitely no motorcycles, so nobody gets a trifecta. It's Alien 3. I thought I'll count how many aliens there are. And we've already come into a bit of a problem here. Because I've got 2 as being the count of how many aliens there are.
Technically, there was the original one that was snuck on the ship. The guy that just doing his job. He was there.
Yeah.
Then the face hugger's technically an alien.
Yeah.
And
so
then
I think for the count,
there's 4 aliens. No, there's 3 aliens.
There's 4 aliens to hell up 3 fingers.
4.
Look, I think in the past I don't know. We can do it again here. We can work out.
Chestbursters, that's one. Ripley had one.
Well, see, I think egg,
Facehugger's one.
facehugger,
Egg's not an alien.
born. I think that's one alien.
No, because the facehugger's got an embryo inside it.
Yeah,
so
so
facehugger's one
facehugger's a
alien and
different-
there's embryo,
Yes.
and then that embryo grows to be an alien.
Yes.
But
So
then-
facehugger has one.
But it can't be. It can't be a separate alien.
It is.
No, because in the family tree is Xenomorph, facehugger, Xenomorph, facehugger, Xenomorph, facehugger. Is how their family tree tends to go. Then, so it's not a separate.
It's like a guy getting somebody pregnant. That baby's not you.
Yeah.
It's your thingy.
so
yeah.
they lay
So a queen
You
lays
lay
an egg.
an egg, but it actually lays a facehugger.
A facehugger is its own alien. Like that is,
Right. Okay.
and then that impregnates
Uh-huh.
any like an animal or human, whatever. If it goes into a human, it becomes a xenomorph. If
And
it
then
goes
that's it. There's no the Xenomorph's just that's the end of the
Yeah.
line. Isn't it?
Yeah, because ultimately the chestburster is just a baby alien. So that's not a different alien. That's the same one, but the facehugger is a separate entity.
So yeah, so it goes facehugger, Xenomorph, baby Xenomorph, baby
Yeah.
Xenomorph, baby Xenomorph.
So that's still the same one, yeah.
Is it? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, because Xenomorphs don't have babies.
No,
No, that's what
only
the
the
queen
queens do. The queen is.
Right. So it doesn't work the same as other animals. So okay.
No, so basically, queen lays an egg.
Oh no, I get the
Egg
process.
lays a facehugger. So facehugger's the alien.
Yeah.
That's it. Then it dies. Then it makes a xenomorph.
Right. Okay.
That's the life cycle. But then that xenomorph could become a queen, which can then lay eggs to make more facehuggers.
Cool. So
Which
yeah,
then can make more aliens.
the facehugger is the
So that's one alien.
That's
then
definitely one. And then
and
the
then-
Xenomorph we see killing everybody.
The
from
dog
couch,
alien.
is another
Two.
one.
And then technically Ripley's one.
I would have to be a facehugger separately.
Depending on what,
Yeah.
that depends on what version, because yeah, you
Yes, because you don't see her. But then if you don't see her, then technically you can count the alien sneaking the eggs onto the ship. There's
Fair
3 in that whatever version you watch.
We think 3 then, so I'll go from 2 to 3. And did they say the thing? Did they say alien in Alien?
Yeah,
3?
they did once.
Yeah. not
Just the
Alien
once. Was there an alien on board when she was talking about the Sulaco? And then they actually say Xenomorph, which I think might be the first time they say Xenomorph. I could be wrong. Aliens
No,
might be one.
I'm
The
pretty sure
aliens
it's
said we have a xenomorph, and like, what the fuck's a xenomorph?
Right,
yeah.
okay. Fair
And
enough.
she explains.
It just jumped out at me when she said the name. Chris, some stats from you.
None of my usual ones. I'm going to quick run through what the differences are in the actual film, since we've
Yeah,
been kind of
boy.
arguing about it. So the special edition shows Clemens walk along the beach and finding Ripley in the water and not a pod, which explains how she got all dirty and stuff.
Yep.
And then, like Bruce says, it also adds the Oxen's pulling the.
And no
EED.
dog in sight. Now, this is something I actually
No.
meant to mention earlier. In the special edition version, no dog is ever established.
No.
Except when old singer man is cleaning
Thinks
his
it's a
tunnel.
dog.
And he's like, "Oh, Spike, 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 is that you? Here, Spike, Spike, Spike." And then he gets got. It's
See,
like,
in mine, he never said that one. He just kind of looked down the hole.
oh, that makes
And then it sprayed acid at him.
perfect. Because I would have said, you know, there's no dog in this version. Just cut out the line. Don't have the audio of him saying that. It doesn't need. It could just be like, "What's that down there?" So your version actually makes most sense out of all these different versions. Then.
I think so. I didn't hear him say Spike, but maybe
It didn't,
we're all bad. There's like Bruce has already said, there's a shit ton of Dylan preaching in the special edition.
So much.
One of the biggest differences is how the alien comes to be. It's in the I've got a TC. What's TC? The theatrical cut is a dog, and this one is an ox.
Yeah.
Special editions, the ox. Yeah.
They find a facehugger dead next to the ox on the flatbed.
Are you on to Paul McGann as Golic yet? Because you can just say his character is the difference. Because
yeah, like they successfully capture the alien in the special edition in that room, and then Golic comes and releases it. And that one, it doesn't even happen. Everything blows up, and then they just walk away wet.
So what does Golic actually do in the theatrical version? Like how much of him? Like is he
the guys get killed, and he gets taken to the bed, and he's like all tied up, and then that's
it.
The alien comes down, kills Clemens.
They don't find him in the mess hall covered in blood, eating the dinner or anything like that, and then get arrested on suspicion of having killed them and all that. And then
he's just on the bed. You never hear him again after that.
So he doesn't get begged to be released, and then so it's just preposterous to even have that guy in the film.
Yeah. And at the end, like when she sacrificed herself, the special edition doesn't have it busted out, and the theatrical one does. Yep.
Yeah.
It's got extra little scenes and stuff.
One I want to mention though that I've got written is that 85 and Ripley exchange some messages with the company, and the company are like, "We want it kept alive under no circumstances do you kill it," which provides a bit more context of why. I thought that was quite an important one that was in the extended version. Any other stats from you, Chris? Just your differences?
No, like I watched two versions, so I didn't know what to count.
Yeah, no alien nut shots or anything like that. Andy, do you have a fun fact?
I've got a couple of fun facts. I own a cast special effects crew T-shirt from this film, which is framed up. Chantel almost bought Ripley's vest. That's the low cut one that's got the Wheel and Newtonic logo in the back. She almost bought that from Prop Store, but then she got out of bed. But an actual fun fact about the film is the sets were made of cardboard when they did the pan shots, which are very noticeable that they're just cardboard.
Right, okay.
They look like cardboard cutouts, and they very much show that they're cardboard cutouts.
Why are they using cardboard for a base in space? Candles and cardboard does not mix. It's going to be a fire. Okay, that's point 4 over with. On to point 5, the 10-point podcast quiz. Andy hopefully is in good enough health to be the quiz master for us.
I'll try. Right, so this one is, how well do you know aliens? So since Chris is our resident alien expert, he can go first. Right, you ready, Chris? In which movie? What?
No, carry on.
Right. In which movie would you find an Asogian alien?
Evolution?
No, Bruce.
So it's not alien franchise films. It's all.
Chris worked out very quickly.
Yeah.
How well do you know aliens?
Like Alien Covenant. No. So right.
Which movie would you find an Asogian alien?
I feel like the pronunciation's not helping us any here. So I'm just going to guess.
Pronunciation.
Star Trek.
It's not Star Trek. It's actually E.T.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Oh, that's what he is. Okay.
And I would have also accepted Star Wars Episode 1: Phantom Menace.
Yeah. I should have said that. Yeah, because there's so many aliens in that.
Right, Bruce. Which alien race is known for its trophy hunting?
Well, the Predators. Do they have an actual name?
Nope, Chris.
Oh fuck. I just know them as Predators. I can't remember what they're called.
They got a name, and I need the name.
Predators. That's all I've got.
Nope. The Yatuja. Yatuja.
Yeah, I would never have got that.
It's technically Predators, but I wanted the race, so no.
Fair enough.
Chris, what is the highest grossing alien film that came out in 1996?
Could you be more specific? 96.
Fucking hell, that was Star Trek.
Nope, Bruce.
Mars Attacks?
Nope, it was Independence Day.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I changed my mind. I was going to say that. I was like, no way, that was 1996. I was like, oh, what an idiot.
Bruce, in the movie Paul, which director makes a cameo asking for advice about an upcoming movie that he's making?
At one stage, I would know this. Director in Paul. Who would be funny making a movie about aliens? Oh, I don't know. Kevin Smith?
Nope,
all I've
Chris.
got is who the director is, like Sigourney Weaver, but no, Steven Spielberg.
It's Steven Spielberg.
Is it?
Yep. He asked advice, and then that's when he gave him the Close Encounters of the Third Kind thing. Chris. I'm going to butcher this name. Ben Mendelsohn appears in Captain Marvel as the leader of which alien race?
Ah.
Gonna have to hurry, Chris.
Ari,
I don't called.
I know the other
No,
one.
Bruce.
Oh, damn.
You're thrown over.
Scroll.
It is the scroll. Yeah.
Yes, I was like,
I'm
it's not Cree.
Cree.
It's not Cree. It's not Cree. It's not Cree.
It's the scroll. Yeah.
Yes.
Next one. Which species is Spock?
Ah. Now I know the correct answer, I think, to this.
Say it.
He is half Vulcan, half human.
That's exactly the right answer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Trick
as well.
question. Try to get me with the seventh trick question of the quiz.
Chris, what is the name of the planet the wormhole takes Daniel Jackson and the team through in the Stargate movie?
Oh, fuck.
Oh god. Can I pass already?
Nah.
Nope. Can throw it over to Bruce.
I know in Stargate
That's
Atlantis they
Stargate,
go to
that's the whole thing.
Atlantis. I know
Nope,
that.
it's not Atlantis. It's Abydos.
I would never. I could have guessed a million consonants and vowels and not got that right. I don't think.
Right, Bruce.
I thought Abydos was Power Rangers.
No. In Star Wars, who shot first?
Can you clarify something for me?
Yep.
Which particular film are we talking about here?
The original Star Wars film.
Right.
The original.
Han Solo shot first.
Han Solo did shoot first, yes.
Yeah, thank you.
He's
Chris.
an alien.
Greedo, is he shot an alien?
He shot an alien. Yeah. Well, actually, Han Solo's not from Earth.
Yeah, they're all aliens.
I'll give you that.
Chris, who directed the 1997 movie Mars Attacks?
Oh, I knew that.
Oh, fuck. I don't know. Robert Rodriguez.
Nope, Bruce.
Oh, I'm confident about 3 different people. Joel Schumacher.
Nope. It was Tim Burton.
Oh, damn! I was like,
Yeah.
it's Tim Burton. I was like, surely it's not Tim Burton. I was like, no, it's gonna be one of these lot. Oh my god, I would have 2 more points in this quiz. Oh,
Who's some go Bruce? Bruce, last
Bruce.
question. Bruce, last
He's
question.
absolutely wiped
oh,
the
I've
floor,
blocked it anyway. Yeah.
What surprise entrant was voted among Star Wars fans to being the 7th best Star Trek movie in 2013?
What?
Did you say Star Wars fans?
Star Trek
Oh,
fans.
Star Trek.
Right, Star Trek fans. What was the 7th best Star Trek movie?
Voted by fans.
Surprise entry. That doesn't really matter. Won the quiz. I'm going to say something silly. Nah, that would be very silly. Let's just say Star Trek Beyond.
No, Chris. If you get this right, Chris, I'll give you the quiz.
No, I haven't.
I don't fucking know.
No.
Star Wars 1.
Nope.
The Phantom Menace, I don't fucking know.
Nope, it was Galaxy Quest.
Right, yeah, it was something silly. Okay.
So Bruce dominates. He knows his aliens.
I would have won 5-1 if I hadn't just been like doubting myself there. Oh, what an idiot. Oh, even you, Tim Burton. That's so annoying. Why did I take that? Right. Point 6 on the 10-point podcast. Chris can redeem himself with the 10-point podcast universe. Speaking of aliens.
There's quite a few here. So, Tom Woodruff Jr., who was the alien.
Hall of Fame contender, I reckon, Tom.
Yeah. After today,
yeah.
He was a salvager in Aliens. He was the graboid in Tremors. He was God or Mortal Kombat. He was a lead primate creature in Evolution, and he was one of the Predator puppeteers in Prey.
And also in this.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously.
One of the aliens.
His name.
No, he's an alien. He's in this as well. But yeah,
he was the alien.
Sensational amount of 10-point podcast movies Tom Woodruff Jr. has been in. So yeah, he needs to be on the ballot. I don't know if he's going to win, but he needs to be on the ballot.
I'm going to butcher this name and apologise. Diobia Opari, who was Arthur Walkenstick in this. He was Destroyer in Doom.
For me, he's far more like I remember him as Destroyer. I do not even remember him in this film after having just watched it. I don't remember it.
I think he's got like an accent, like a Jerry accent, but just Doom is like fucking massive and deep.
Yeah. Oh, I see that one. Right, okay.
Yeah. Carol Chase, who was Frank Ellis. He was in The Mummy. Is somebody called Hook?
Don't know who that is.
Oh!
Carry on.
I thought Hook was the guy who was in the dirigible, but that's the second
red
film.
blazer and a big pirate hat on, didn't he? That's what Hook was.
Christopher Fairbank, who was Thomas Murphy, he was in The Fifth Element as, I didn't realise this was his name, McTilborough.
I've never heard that name before.
He was a doctor with the weird eyes watching him hump.
He's one of them faces, that guy. He shows up in a million things, but he's not actually from anything. To me, he's like the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes, he is.
Where Yondu.
I didn't realise that was him.
Yeah.
So I did
selling
this.
the shit.
Lance Henriksen was Bishop 2. It was his official name, so that makes me think he's an android. He was in Aliens as Bishop.
He was.
I think that's it.
Good catch.
Something else.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think he might show up in a couple when I was looking at what he's been in, but he's not nothing yet. Just Aliens so far.
Christopher John Fields, who was Rains. He was in Jurassic Park as Volunteer 1.
Is Volunteer, were that people who worked in Jurassic Park?
I think that's one of maybe the first guys that died at the start.
Right, okay, but yeah, I didn't recognise him as having been in Jurassic Park, but he's been in other things.
I think he was uncredited, so I'm just adding people just to pad this out a wee bit. As you previously mentioned, Charles...
podcast. Jesus,
I know.
I didn't know it was that long. Charles Dance, as you mentioned, was in The Last Action Hero.
So not technically part of the universe, but really part of the universe.
I have to add it to get traction.
In our hearts, as part of the universe.
This one blew my mind because I didn't realise it was anything. Charles S. Dutton, Dylan, he was in 7 as a cop.
I remember him being in 7. Like the way he talks really stood out to me. I was, oh yeah, he is in 7.
And finally, Sigourney Weaver, Ripley, was obviously Ripley in Aliens. She was an Avatar in Grace, and she was a director. Oh no, in Cabin of Woods, not in Paul.
I didn't want to argue with you during the quiz, but yeah, you got your films confused there.
Oh, she was in Paul though.
She says in Paul. We've not done Paul.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it.
I'd forgotten we'd done Avatar. I didn't have that on my Sigourney.
I know. I so did I until I was like, I feel like I've watched this recently. Why have I watched it? And how did we go back and check the podcast list? And it was there.
She's a former Hall of Fame contender, Sigourney Weaver, but this might put her back in the running again, depending on what else happens. You missed nobody that I got, Chris,
okay,
so
good.
I would have to agree with you. Have you recast the three of us into the film?
And then quite quickly, I put myself as 85 because I'm a follower, not a leader. I put Andy as Andrews, the guy in charge, and Bruce, I put you as Dylan.
Oh,
he's quite wordy.
I'm the same as you. Said I put myself as Clemens. I thought we should be really the three that aren't the murderers, rapists, and pedophiles.
Well, he says he's a murderer of women, but it didn't seem like it.
And then Clemens.
Thank God.
He wasn't murdered. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, but yeah, I did. I had to use the other two. I thought that would be the best trio. On to my questions then. Could this film have come out in 1995? Well, Alien 4 came out in 1997. This is 1992, so it maybe should have just let's wait a couple of
Yeah.
years. Let special effects get a bit
Yes.
better. Maybe let David Fincher go since he hates it, and we'll get somebody else in, and it might have been better coming out in 1995. Dead Man Walking. This was really tough because I kind of remembered where the film went, but Golic, I mean, like, he did nothing to help himself at any point during our film. Andy did see so much of him in his film, but
The Raper, the one with the thing about you can see as soon as he tried to do it, you can't hear him dying.
absolutely, yeah, that's nailed on. Like, that's absolutely yes, goggle. You don't come back from that, unfortunately. So yeah, him as well, definitely. And who's in the wrong movie? Well, I said Golic wasn't even in this movie, so it has to be him. And tropes. Tropes are really a struggle. Which trope from this film do we want to see die? I went, these men haven't seen a woman in years. It happens far too often in movies. Anybody got any others?
I went for lackeys or assistants who just follow their bosses around and just repeat the last thing they said.
I quite like that. That's
Yeah.
a personal favourite of mine, is the Smithers role. I quite like it.
Mine's is the dramatic hero music. We've done it. It's all over. Here's some nice music. Rah! Alien comes flying out again. It's like, oh, so many times.
It's when it does it for no reason. Like they're looking at the EEV and it drops a chain and it goes,
Yeah.
all right, fucking hell, it's just a chain dropping.
No, mine's was just like the hero, like it's been over. It's just a nice build up, and it's always something like Michael Myers is getting back up. You know,
Yeah.
double tap that motherfucker.
Double tap, yeah. Okay, what is that one thing? Point 7. What is that one thing Alien 3
Chris.
has? Chris's shot. I went shaved head Ripley, so we'll
Yeah.
triple down on that one camera shot of her being drooled on. Chris, 10-point podcast awards at the end of the season. Your nominations are 0.8, and we argue until you're right or wrong.
I left this blank because she doesn't really do a lot of acting. Best actor.
It's not Sigourney. It's
No.
No.
I've got everyone. Like Sigourney's okay, but everybody else acts like the hell out of every role they did.
Mhm.
I believe they're rapers and murderers.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the whole thing. The first half is like a stage play, and the set is what's behind Andy. That kind of place there. You can imagine the whole thing playing it there.
Stand side, right? Come on, next scene.
So I would maybe have gone with Charles Dance, but he dies halfway through the film, so I don't know if it is him. And then after him, I really think Brian Glover as Andrews is really good, and then he dies straight away as well. So it's tough if we're not an ensemble of everybody, or it's
I
nobody.
put best supporting as Charles S. Dutton.
Right, let's go with that because I had Dance, him, and
Yeah.
Glover. So yeah, we'll go Charles.
It
S.
was
Dutton.
between Dance and Dutton, but I prefer Dutton.
I'll take Charles Dutton for best supporting. I don't think anyone's best acting. I think it's the lot or it's nobody. I think. So,
Most underused, I put Paul McGann as Golic.
Yep.
now I've gone for someone who we've mentioned even less, which is Pete Postlethwaite. He doesn't do anything in the film for over
He's
an
got one
hour.
of them faces though, and you just recognise him every time.
Yeah,
he pops
it's like
up. He's the
and
most
He's come up
recognisable
as
bald
most
guy.
obvious name for me because
What's his-
he's called David Postlethwaite in the film.
Oh, really? Is he?
Is it?
Oh, so yes, yeah. I guess he was just called David, and they just we'll
Yeah.
stick with. I think they're all pretty much one name, aren't they? Because
Yeah.
he said someone else had the same name as the actor did. Oh, was it someone else? Anyway, yeah, I think Pete Postlethwaite is most underused because he's really good and like he's barely in the film, whereas at least Paul McGann they filmed stuff. They just didn't use it.
See, I left this blank because I didn't really think she did enough to be a badass
I'm
as
fine.
best badass.
I'll withdraw my nomination of her being best badass then.
Yeah, I mean, if she saved herself on the rape scene, I would say there's an argument there, but she kind of just stood there and took it.
And she also she didn't kill like in the second one she's killing a bunch of aliens.
Yeah.
The first one she kills the alien. And this one
Yeah.
she didn't really do anything.
Biggest bell end I put is Andrews. He does nothing helpful at all.
I went the
Apart
company.
from squeeze a little ball.
The company are bell ends.
The company worst. I thought Andrews would eventually have buckled to the there's an alien here, but it got him before he.
It's
killed
one of
him.
my things with it.
Company, then.
The one thing with the company, right, is they want an alien to use it as a weapon. Against who?
And-
Because
Yeah.
because the company doesn't seem to have any enemies. It's like, all right, yeah, that planet's pissing us off. We'll just drop an alien in there, wipe them out.
Predators. Because
They don't know about
back on
predators
Earth,
at the time.
well, they do it back on Earth because Wayland was there.
Well, but he didn't know it at the time.
Oh, I suppose he would have, because he only noticed them when he went to the place. So
Just to ultimately, like, they want to weaponize this alien, but ultimately they've lost about a bazillion one of their company and Marines. It's
What I
like,
was gonna
Yeah.
What I was going to say is because I don't really have the Alien vs Predator context that you do, and I don't think the films that obviously don't operate like that because they haven't come out yet. At this point, what do we know about Weyland-Yutani? The first film, are they just exploring a planet?
yep,
The second film, they end up
they're they're going to help a terraforming planet.
yeah, and then in this one, it's like a prison that kind of is a
A
smelting.
lead mining.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It's like they don't seem to be in the kind of killing aliens kind of business. They seem to be in the metal business.
Yes.
What they do. They just have
Planetary business.
yeah.
Unless they wanted to drop it, like, I know, release these deadly aliens onto the indigenous people on the
Yeah.
planets.
Yeah,
But then we've got a problem because these aliens are fucking good. So yeah, we'll just have to null and void that planet now, guys. Fuck it. Leave it alone.
Yeah,
I put best villain, the alien.
yeah. The Xenomorph.
Does kill a lot of
Or
people.
the dog. What's it called? The dragon Xenomorph. Or what it's
Yeah.
called.
Best death, I put when the shit hits the fan.
Yep, I did that as well. Either the Xenomorph dying or probably when Murphy gets diced
Yeah.
at the
That was
beginning.
awesome.
But I like the Xenomorph death of it getting melted and then cold water
Yeah.
exploding it.
Stupidest character, it depends on the version. I put Golok for releasing the alien, or literally 85.
Ah, yes, was literally it's 85. Well, we think that. It's not actually been proven. Although he did seem very annoyed by it. But I think he does nothing as stupid as what Golok does.
No.
So it's Golok, I think.
Yeah, I'll accept that. Best plan is the end plan to kill the alien, which took far too long to come up with.
When they finally got
It's a
around
good
to
plan,
it.
but yeah.
Yeah.
Worst plan is Golok releasing the alien.
Yeah. Least thought out plan.
Again, like I've got two different versions of films
Yeah.
here. So,
I had that one as my worst plan. So.
best twist is she's got one inside.
Yeah.
I guess so. Yeah, I suppose it probably. And the same premise of last week where I was like, it's a vampire bar. We'll have to go. Yeah, she's actually got that as well. So yeah, fair enough.
Biggest jump scare, because I forget about it every time, is when it jumps out the lead. I forget about it. Like I haven't seen it for a while, and I said, "Oh, they've
That's
got
because
it."
that hero music was playing. That
Yeah.
I can lose you in, and then bang, it jumps out. It's like, you bastard. It's watch with headphones on because it's louder.
yeah.
Best special effects is close up alien.
Yeah.
Worst special
I-
effects is Bruce's alien.
Yeah, well, that one's all right. It's the I don't know.
And the one on the
roof
roof.
ones, yeah.
The South Park style, like a little bit of black card that they're moving
Yeah.
up.
What were you gonna say, Andy?
Nothing.
Okay. Best set I put as Fury.
Yeah, I quite like
that
this set.
quite- Yeah.
I wanted to nail it down to one bit. I think it might be the room that's behind Andy,
Yeah.
the meeting hall or the church, or whatever you want to call it. Might be that.
Remote control room.
Yeah.
Yeah, remote control. Yeah.
I've got a lot of fucking blank here. Blah 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 blah.
It's
blah,
fine, you
blah.
get blanks.
Best hair. Ripley skinhead.
Yeah.
Lack of hair. Yeah.
It's like it's synonymous with it. I also remember when it came out and seeing Sigourney doing her press stuff as her with the shaved head. And best product placement, Coke.
That's what I went for as well.
Yep. There's nothing else.
Just all the random bottles of Coke just sitting at the end and them just drinking it.
Unless it's Weyland-Yutani, but I think it's Coca.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola.
An actual product placement is Coke.
I've ordered almost obvious name. Yeah, I think that's me.
Best exit, Ripley.
Yeah.
Well, see, I don't have best exit. I will have
Yeah,
best
I'll have that
entrance.
Yeah,
Best
best
entrance
exit.
got their best exit. Done that.
Best
that.
exit is the alien coming out of the rocks.
That's
Or
entrance.
the dog. I know out of the dog because it looks more violent.
I've not seen that one. Michael Pena award. Charles Dance, when he's explaining why he has the barcode with the I was addicted to morphine.
Yeah.
And I came back and there was this thing and I had to save and 11 people died, but not because of that, but because that was a good storytelling. Charles Dance at his best. Postlewaite, stupidest character. Worst acting. Now, it's harsh, but Rains and Boggs, the two that get killed with Golok, because they were the two basically American characters, and I don't know, the American accent in amongst all these other Shakespearean people doing their full-on acting their hearts out. The two American guys kind of trying to also ham it up sounded really bad. So the two of them. I think that's me. I've got no other differences to Chris's ones. So on to point 9.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Hey.
All right, you don't normally have the one, Andy. Carry on.
I know, but nobody's done best. What is it? Inanimate object.
Oh, fair point.
Fair
Fair point. Yeah, same.
So this one blew my mind. Never noticed it before until this version. Sigourney Weaver's taking a shower, Okay. But it pans across. And on the wall, there was 5, which I can only describe of spank panels.
Oh, yes, I
Paddles?
noticed them actually.
Or paddles?
Paddles.
Paddles.
Paddles. My nose blocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was 5 of them hanging up on the wall, which raised a lot of questions going, the fuck did they get up in the shower? And I was just like,
Prison.
all right, why didn't they use them as weapons? That was a weapon, mass destruction in that shower.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like fucking paddleboard with the alien's face.
But yeah, just
One
like,
shot.
just thought, that's a pretty good inanimate object there.
Fair
Random.
Accepted. Any others, Andy?
No, just that one. It just blew my mind. There were spank paddles on the walls.
Point 9, moral of the story. Which lesson were we supposed to learn from this film? Now, I think I might go first so I can steal Chris's before he says it, depending on which film he took it from. Because mine's only in the 2003 version. In an insane world, a sane man must appear insane, is something that Golic.
Oh yes, Golic.
So that's my moral of the story.
He looks at you're gonna die.
Yeah. What's yours, Chris?
Yeah, sex is a great conversation changer.
And Andy, what's your moral of the story?
They mostly come at night. Mostly. It does. It literally just. It's like aliens love to be in the dark, so I'm going to. It's always nighttime there.
It was always nighttime. It's mostly
I want-
nighttime.
I want to see daylight
Mostly.
aliens. Like these aliens, I don't think they're established to be nocturnal.
I think
Like
there's some. Is Covenant? Is it got daytime aliens? I think it might
I just
be.
want to see daytime aliens, so I'm going with Newt's classic one.
Yes, fair enough. Point 10 on the 10 Point Podcast is.
And
our
also,
10
creepers only come mostly out at night. Mostly rapists, murderers. So
hard to see them.
Yeah.
10th point rating. Chris, you picked it. Lead us off. I'll go second.
The more I watch Alien 3, I think the better it seems to get. Like, I don't know. Like, it could have been like it wasn't for like the development shit that has gone through. This could have been a fucking banger of a film. But I feel like you have to watch both versions to actually get an accurate thing of the film.
Yeah.
So, I guess a 7 for me. It's still, for me, the worst of the 3 films that we've watched, but it's better than it should be.
I'm also a 7. That's my score as well. It was heading towards an 8 because I thought it's got a couple of problems, but it's hard to fault it. But the second half really is just it's a lot of treading water in the second half. Like the first half, a lot of talking, a lot of establishing, a lot of character stuff. But the second half, they take away the actual important conversations and add very little in the way of anything important happening. So it knocked it back down to a 7 for me. I think I like it. I think I like it better than Aliens. But it's not as good as the first one for me. The first one's way better than the other two. But yeah, very, very good. I feel like it's a way better than any right to be, everything considered.
Yeah.
So 7 for me too. Andy, what's your score?
Almost the same as you guys. It's like a ballsy move to go from aliens to having multiple aliens down to one again.
Yeah.
It kind of pays off. I feel like it's done better than Alien, but not as good as Aliens 2. And the story's there, but it falls down a lot of parts. It only gets a 6 from me.
6 from Andy. Almost a perfect 7, but it gets a 7 anyway
Yeah.
because that's our. But so yeah, that's our accurate. After us talking about 3 different people reviewing films, and we find the average score, we've just about reviewed a film the same. Basically the same. So a 7 out of 10 for Alien 3. I think that might chart it quite well in the.
I think the director's, well, not the director's cut, the assembly cut is better than the other one.
Yeah, I think
It makes more sense than the other one
Yeah.
does.
definitely. There's too much extra stuff. They could definitely not put some stuff in. But yeah, you're right. The story is far more coherent in that one. So that was Chris's theme of unfinished business. The Mummy Returns, Under Siege, and Alien 3. One of them doesn't quite fit in. But that was just unfinished business theme. Next time, we're returning to the wheel.
I'm still not finished that as well. They're unfinished until I've finished the series.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, can you see the wheel?
Not yet, but it's coming. We can now
Yes.
see the wheel.
Right.
Thought I made a hash of that there.
Oh my
It's
god.
changed.
Immediately seen one.
no.
Right.
So these are all a bunch of new films that are released on Netflix,
Oh, I've
Amazon,
seen one of them.
and
Oh, good.
Which
There's one I want to see, so that's good.
So-
65's on it as well. Right, okay.
so we'll have a wee spin and see what we're going to watch next week. Here we go. Spin. Right, we're slowing down. We're
Uh-oh.
slowing down.
No, go to Tetris. Go to Tetris. Not watched it yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boston
Boston
Strangler.
Strangler.
No idea what that is.
Let's have a look-see. Boston Strangler.
Boston Strangler, I think.
I would imagine so. Oh, I had it there. Keira Knightley, Carrie Coon movie. Inspired by a true story. The
Like Boston
reporter,
Strangler.
reporter who first connected the murders and broke the story of the Boston Strangler, including the two main characters challenging the sexism of the early 60s to report on the most notorious killer in the city's history.
This sounds like right up our street.
There we
Sexist movie.
go. Made by Hulu, it says. So I imagine that's where we'll find it on the
Maybe
internet.
Disney Plus then.
So there you go, Boston Strangler, Keira Knightley. I'd never even heard of this film, and I'm not as when 80 for Brady came up, I was a bit like, oh my god, what is this? This one might actually be pretty good. So
Yeah.
there we are. That's us for this week. No, nothing else really to wind out. That's been a long one since we just kept on talking as normal. Find the Boston Strangler, Hulu, Disney Plus, or otherwise, and we'll see you next week on the 10 Point Podcast for the Boston Strangler on the 10 Point Podcast. I said the same thing a couple of times. Goodbye.